Welcome to Capitano. This is Will Sanchez. My very special guest today is Kevin Montalvo. He is the co-founder of the Queens Distance Runners, a relatively new club in Queens. I'm delighted to have Kevin as a guest.
El Capitano on Gotta Run, finally happening.
Kevin, we got a lot to cover, so let's get started.
Let's do it.
Tell us a little bit about where were you born, something about your childhood.
Yeah, of course. I was born in Elmhurst Hospital, Queens, native of Jackson Heights. Grew up to parents from Ecuador, and physical fitness has always been a big deal of my life. Running, however, hasn't. And it seems that up until my starting of running, high energy has been what I'm all about. It's something I just can't seem to get rid of.
You always had it?
Always had it.
As a kid, you were actively involved in everything?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My mother and father, they would actively take me to baseball leagues. Raul Yugas, one of my co-founders who went to school with me, he was in the 8th grade. His mom would drive us to Little League. We'd play in this league that's in Astoria, and he'd drive us there, or the mom would drive us there, and we'd play. Edwin Guzman, another co-founder of Queens Distance, we'd play basketball, soccer, something that we still do.
Did you go to college, I presume?
I went to the City College of New York, and I was not into athletics, I was more into my academics, but I would actively take long walks. It felt like it was a good opportunity for me to just get things off my chest, or just, you know, get my mind wrapped around things. And especially in high school too, that's actually when I started walking long distances. I didn't have a Garmin, a pedometer or anything. I would just go out for walks, just think about, you know, how things are going, think about life, all these things which sometimes don't make any sense when you're a teenager.
Yes.
And yeah, then I just wound up realizing, hey, you know, I have stamina, and as I would later turn out to run, it served for a good purpose.
So what did you study in college?
Political science and business admin, which really has come in handy for Queens Distance.
Yes, you do it all, but we'll get there. Okay, so you were more of a walker in those days.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the thing that said, you know, running this is going to work out for you?
I was inspired by the 2010 New York City Marathon. I said to myself, wow, this is great, and I'd happen to be working at Paragon Sports.
In the sports department, selling shoes?
In the team sports department. So it wasn't quite in the running section, but I wound up being in team sports. And it was there that I wound up being exposed to the wonderful world of running and retail.
Okay. Well, Paragon Sports is great. They're on that East 19th Street or something like that?
Yeah, 867 Broadway. I can't get the address. I can't.
And just a mile away from the East River track.
Of course. Absolutely.
But do you still work at Paragon?
No. I left there in 2013. It was at that point, again, fast forwarding a little bit here, that was when I decided that I needed to start something new. Maria Wong, who is such a focal point of my life, we wound up saying to ourselves, at first in dates, we would just say, hey, you know, there could be some more running clubs out in Queens, or just more events out in Queens. I feel like, you know, we're sitting on a gold mine here, so to speak. And, you know, it wound up being to the point we'd joke about it, and then we decided to seriously take a nice little venture on it. But we'll get to that, and we'll also get to the inner circle that we've developed.
Okay. So you said there was more to do in Queens. So where did that come from?
Absolutely. There's a lot of work that's involved, but, I mean, it really started just really going back and just setting things from where it really started. It was it was then called the Knickerbocker 60K of 2010. I was in Paragon. People had found out, calling me crazy, all this stuff. I wasn't working in the running department. I wound up running that 60K, and I'll never forget, it was 7 hours and 42 minutes. I don't remember much of it, and I certainly don't remember getting back home.
There's a lot of loops.
Lots of loops. And I remember sweating profusely for like 3 days on end. I just kept sweating and sweating, because at the time I was around 200 pounds.
Oh, really?
That was my first race.
And you were 200 pounds?
200
and what
pounds.
height are you?
That's great. 5'10".
Wow, that was very brave of you to go out there.
But then I wound up coming back to Paragon. I took a short leave to study on my GMAT at the time. Then I just wound up returning to Paragon, this time as a running specialist. I was just high on the running scene. That's when I wound up meeting Maria, and I haven't won any races, but winning the race to get Maria Wong essentially was the essential race that I needed to win. Yeah.
That's an interesting metaphor, to race to her heart.
That's right.
And now you guys are talking about...
We're talking, it's 2011, going to 2012. The relationship's going great, but at the same time, we're signing up for all these races. It's races, races, races. 5K one week, half marathon next week, marathon the week after that. And we noticed that there wasn't much going on in Queens, nor the other boroughs for that matter. And we wound up running into Steve Lasto and NYC Runs, and we thought that was a great alternative that we ran into because they have a race schedule of their own, and it was something that we picked up on as well. And then just going back, sort of into how Queens Distance started, we said, okay, well, I feel like there needs to be another competitive running club.
In Queens?
In Queens.
Okay, now you mentioned two of the names. Raul, you said?
Yeah, Raul Yugas.
Okay, childhood friend.
Childhood friend.
And Mr. Guzman?
And Mr. Guzman. So Raul Yugas, and this is going to 2013, by chance he winds up hitting up on Facebook and he says, Kevin, I see that you've started this, you've done all these races and stuff. I see that you've led group runs. I was thinking maybe you could help direct a race for the Wounded Warrior Project in May of 2013, 3 months away. Help us out. This is in Queens, Flushing Meadows Park.
Okay.
And I said, sure, I'll help out. Let's see what happens. And I was training at the time to train for the Boston Marathon of 2013, which wound up, as you know, being a terrible tragedy.
Oh, yeah. So did you qualify for that?
I qualified for that. I ran in 2012. I ran the Yonkers Marathon, which is put on by NYC Runs. Great event. Got a chance to see Yonkers for some of the race, and got a chance to climb the hills for more of the race.
And what was your time in that?
It was 3:03.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yonkers is very, very rough.
Oh, it is.
3:03. That's like 2:50 any place else.
Yeah. I was 24 years old. I had no coach at the time. I was running, 25 milers. I would do a marathon Monday, which meant I would just go run throughout the borough. Sometimes I'd run to Coney Island. I'd actually ran to Connecticut from Central Park one time, which wound up being.
But you got lost and you wind up in Connecticut?
That's hilarious.
How many miles was that?
28 miles.
Oh, that doesn't sound that bad.
It's not. I planned it.
Obviously, like you said, you have all this energy. You're not burning it up because now you want to do more.
That's right.
So you got together with your kitchen cabinet, so to speak, and cooked up the Queens Distance runners?
Yeah. So the Wounded Warrior Project wound up being something that we planned for. But then after the Boston Marathon, it just wound up being something more than just running. We wanted to show that runners can come together, unite.
Right.
So we wound up making a fundraiser, and it's not the first time we've done that, as we'll get to with regards to that superhero 5K relief for Nepal. We said we have to donate to the One Fund Boston, and that race wound up getting a lot of support. I had a lot of fun with it. I wound up getting interviewed by New York One. It was so much fun. Doing the Wounded Warrior one, no one got lost. One of my friends, Dave Delacruz, who currently works at the New York Running Company, one of our Queens Distance Runners members, a joy to be around. He wound up winning that race. So it was really fun that we wound up getting that race organized, and then we said to ourselves, if we could do something of this, I think we're sitting on an opportunity for the borough.
Yeah.
For sure, and that's what got us started.
Okay. Is there paperwork to do?
There's paperwork. There's just a little bit of paperwork. That's thankfully where Maria comes in. She was great. She got on top of everything. I mean, she's so well organized. On race day, there's so many pictures of her just staying on top of everything and just making sure that everything goes off without a hitch. And, the Wounded Warrior Project and the One Fund, that run essentially wound up going off so smoothly with so much support. But then after that, we decided to retool and start doing races in other locations. So our first run was actually the Back to School 5K in Bayside, Queens. A whopping total, which we couldn't withstand, of 12 people came out for that race.
Well, why only 12?
It was a 7 a.m. start. The Parks Department at the time, we were totally new entity. No one had known of us. Everyone finished, had a good time. And then we wound up retooling. We had a few more races. We had a costume party 5K in Astoria Park. But then it wound up getting traction when, Maria, Edwin, and I, Raul, we all said, hey, listen, maybe it's not for the best that we have all these races. Maybe it's for the best for our mission, for our image, if we just retool, build on our club, our competitive racing club. Maybe we can see what we can do, have other people come out, they'll spread the word also. And then after that, we can take on this sort of joyous thing of race organizing.
Okay. So you grew the club, is it through social media?
Social media. And the luck of us running into some really good people, which also happen to become great runners. Catherine Chua, who we wound up meeting at our race, which was the Spring Forward 5-miler. No, I'm sorry, it was a Toy Drive 5-miler. As a USATF certified running coach, I wound up helping to train her, but in actuality, besides just being a fantastic runner, great person, she wound up networking for us, getting a lot of members, and we wound up just saying, hey, listen, welcome to Queen's Distance, and a few other people wound up joining.
Is Catherine, she's the Bionic Woman?
She is the Bionic Woman. Code names are pretty important with us. So being that I'm El Capitano, just the captain, I'm just the guy that's steering the ship, making sure that we're staying on course. Maria Wong is the Zen master. I mean, hills don't get her down at all. Running on a tough course or something, you'll never hear her complain. She's never going to be the one that's saying that it's humid outside. If she has a bad race, she just owns up to it and starts training for the next one. Nate Weber, who is the Flash, he's our speed coach, just definitely one of the fastest people around, and just has the personality of just someone that's always upbeat. And anytime anybody wants to get faster, we just say, hey, listen, Coach Flash is here for you.
Okay. Any other nicknames?
Yeah, sure. So Edwin Guzman.
Your other buddy?
My other buddy, yeah. So this guy is one of the calmest guys around. He's known for just going into a race, whether he's writhing in pain or just joyously going at an 8:30 pace. He's calm. I don't know how he does it.
He's calm. He's like a cup of coffee. He calms you down.
Absolutely.
Any others? Can you share?
Yeah, sure. So Patricia Alcivar, who you actually, thank you very much for that. Yeah, boom, boom. Yeah. I just gave her the name Knockout because, I mean, she's just...
Well, she's a boxer.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's just a knockout. She actually won second place yesterday, second female finisher. She's posting up these archival footage of all these boxing matches, and I just can't believe that she's one of our members. Yeah, so in 2014, we just started to gel. We wound up getting all these core members. Catherine was doing really good. She had just ran a 3:34 at the Central Park Marathon, doing great. And she wound up leading our points team for the women. She's actually consistently led the entire way, and she was also new to running. She's been doing a great job. She, you wouldn't think that she's a mother of 3. That's why she's bionic. She does all these miles, and she just does it without a problem.
My God, does she have are the kids older, or does she stroll around them?
Oh no, you wouldn't think that she's had them. They're all toddlers, and she just does all this training, and it's unbelievable. She wound up going from a 3:34. Well, fast forward, she wound up running a 3:05 in this past New York City Marathon, the windstorm.
Oh, that's very tough.
Oh yeah, very tough.
Very 3:05.
Yeah,
that
3:05.
is incredible. So obviously she's on her way to Boston whenever she wants to go.
She did Boston.
She did Boston.
She did Boston. This one that just passed. Yeah, we all went as a team. Just unbelievable specimen, bionic woman. That's just how she is.
How did she do in Boston?
She actually had just PR'd. It was unbelievable in that all that wind and all that the Heartbreak Hills. And that's really where coaching comes in. I wound up training her. I had been so busy. I was working 50 hours a week, and I was just saying to myself, okay, listen, I need to cut back on my clients, even if a few of them are members. So that's when Nate Weber, who had just earned our trust completely,
Mr.
Flash and Mr. Beast.
He has 2 names?
No.
Oh,
Beast is a separate coach.
Guy.
That's Luciano Medina. He lives in Brooklyn, and he proves that you can live somewhere else besides Queens and be a member. He's one of our coaches.
You're like the X-Men of Queens.
That's right. That's right.
The Beast.
Running a 2:59 in New York. He was just... I couldn't believe how much tolerance he was able to show, and just how much he was able to persevere. He coached at NYU, and he had done all sorts of great work with his athletes.
Yeah.
And with Luciano, I said, hey, listen, this guy knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. He comes up with all these plans. He's definitely going to be a great coach. So we have Mr. Weber and Mr. Medina.
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
But now his specialty, you got
that's right.
speed.
That's correct.
What's Beast's specialty?
Distance and perseverance. He knows how to set a pace and set a tempo and just put it into autopilot, so to speak.
Okay. And you're the captain steering this ship. So
That's
far,
right.
You haven't hit any rocks.
No rocks. And I was able to multitask with Miss Chua, the bionic woman, and I still trained her. I said, hey, listen, I'll train you. It was snowing. We all know the winter was a negative split, so to speak. Started on slow, then wound up just piling on.
And in Boston, she did what?
She wound up breaking her PR.
So it was under 305.
It was just 305 and some change, but it was definitely a PR though.
Wow. Obviously, she wants to get to that magical under 3.
Absolutely. I'm positive that she'll get it because she followed my training regimen. I said, hey, listen, this is what you'll do. And like a soldier, she did it. I mean, and she was new to running, so for someone to be on the running high, she just was signing up for all these races. Fat, half, 5K.
Have to figure out what she eats because that's an amazing, because diet also plays a role.
Diet plays a huge role, as I found out.
And I don't know when she gets the rest when she got 3 toddlers to take care of.
Bionic woman. I mean, I'd like to become an agent and see if I can sign her up for a Marvel movie.
Recently, that you did a superhero 5K.
That's correct.
Well, superheroes 5Ks occur all over the country. Is that a franchise or is that something?
I'm not sure. We initially wanted to have it as something of a present to our members. Everyone loves a fun run. Everyone loves something that's out of goodwill. And at that time, we'd said, hey, listen, the team's doing great. We're now competing for points. We were so happy we were getting points now. Roadrunners points, yeah. We were so happy to have been in getting points since the last 5th Avenue mile, led by Mr. Weber. We wound up recruiting some new guests, Angel Ortega, Alessio Asaro, all these new people that wound up just coming in from references. Derek Hansen, who had just joined in, he was doing he had just done a Chicago Marathon, New York City Marathon. So now we have a team, we're doing great, but at the same time, and this is one of the things that I love about our group is that we're all a family. All of us like to come on in. We do have a competitive racing team. We also have middle of the packers, people that just got into running, people that like to sort of just get in there and just fit some sort of a run in, but we're all a family. We'll all go out for breakfast. We'll do a brunch. We like to pick a new spot every time, a new neighborhood, sort of touch upon the diversity
of Queens.
Queens, of course.
Queens, a great cuisine.
Jackson Heights,
great,
Woodside.
Great Indian food.
You can't go wrong. You just, it's so easy. Just go on the map, my run. Plot here, plot there, pick a spot. It's so easy. Yelp, not even Yelp, just word of mouth, just experience of us members saying, hey, listen, I've been here after a run. Let's go, and all of us have a really good time. So we decided, okay, so we were getting the points. The team, we now have over 110 members. We just got 120 yesterday, so it's really good. We said to ourselves, now we can focus on the running again. So we decided to have a fun superhero run, and we wound up going in our long run, which was starting at the Unisphere, going to Great Neck, which is on YouTube, which is fantastic, because now it's sort of proving that we're a club for the 21st century.
Okay.
And we had noticed the tragedy in Nepal, and that's when we wound up getting in touch with Swarupa, and I'd seen her on your previous show, and then I said to myself, this is something that we have to do. We've got to really find out a way to benefit Nepal. This is terrible. And they wound up getting another aftershock, which is also terrible.
Yeah, a high one,
Yeah, so, we all came together as heroes, and it wound up being very ironic.
Wow. Yeah, so Rupa, she's great. And of course, she's from that country, represented Nepal in the Asian Games, and did super well as an amateur.
Yeah.
Everybody else was professionals, and she was, and she lives in Queens, so it's a good kismet kind of.
It all comes together.
And she finished second, I think.
She finished first. She negative splitted it. She was smiling the first half of the 5K, and then she just kicked it into gear and just won. Asian Games winner, Nepalese, organized the national anthem of Nepal at the race, which is fantastic. Just touches upon all the diversity that we can bring. Yeah, and now we're proud to announce we're doing another run for Nepal. Date to be determined. Now the Parks Department. It's all coming together. People know who we are now. Okay. You're wearing our shirt.
Proudly.
You have our hat. And it's perfect. Now we're going to have more runs, more culturally themed runs.
Now you mentioned the Parks Department. They heard of you now they return your phone calls? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, of course. At first it was the sort of thing of who's this guy? Who's this Kevin guy with who's this guy with all this energy? And now all of a sudden, now we're getting some recognition now. Our permits are now being green-lit at a faster rate, which is perfect. We have a lot of people to credit for that. Our sponsors, they wound up doing a really good job in helping us get the word out. Steve Lasto, NYC Runs.
I know he does races under his banner, New York City Runs, but that he helps you guys, like Nepal, I guess he did the timing.
Yeah, he's done all of our timing ever since our last toy drive run.
Yeah.
Very smart guy, for sure. He's got a business to grow. He's growing it, getting people out to Shore Road Park out in Brooklyn. You know, a healthy alternative is always necessary, and we're very happy to work with him and get him to time our races and use his extended network.
Yeah, New York City Runs is great. And is there going to be a Queens marathon in the future?
So that's right there, the master plan. That's something that we would love to do. I mean, anytime we see on the registration that someone from Manhattan, Brooklyn, Bronx gets a chance to come out to our borough, it's just great. It's just a chance to, Queens is 1/10 park. There's a 1 in 10 chance you're going to be in a park if you're in Queens. There's so many different activities that we can plan.
Queens really is, I think, the biggest borough to 5.
Biggest borough.
So you got a lot of
most
places
diverse
to run.
too. Absolutely, and our membership base is so diverse. It's just, you know, it's very implicative of the borough. And that's one of the things that since I was a kid, going out on the walks, you go through Astoria. It's basically Greece.
Okay.
It's basically Greece. And you just go to Jackson Heights, all the way Corona. You have all this diversity. You have the Latin crowd. You go out to Forest Hills. It's just,
and like I said, the cuisine is amazing. I've been to the Heights and the Indian food, and there's a place called, I forget the name of this. Oh, is it Pio Pio?
Pio Pio, that's right. Lots of
great.
locations.
I think that's Ecuador food.
That's correct, yeah.
Is that the chickens
Latin
in
food
Ecuador
in
says Pio
That's
Pio.
right, that's right. You know, we're so much more than just 2 airports. You know, a lot of people come on in, and we're very happy to be working with the new borough president, Melinda Katz. We've been working with her office now, and she made the great point. She's been very, you know, on top of things and making sure that people know that there's a lot more to Queens than just the 2 airports. You know, we're looking to plan. There's now the pavilion. She's doing a great job with, you know, making sure that they plan out with Flushing Meadows and accentuating that it gets the attention it deserves.
It's very wise to work with the local, like especially the borough president and local council members and local senators. They could be extremely helpful.
So we actually are working with Julissa Ferreras. She is one of the city council people of District 25, if I'm not mistaken, 2125.
Yeah.
But stay in touch for that, because we're looking to have a race teamed up with Ms. Ferreras, and we're very excited about that.
Oh, great. It's a very, very wise move to be in contact with them.
We don't have a choice, Will. Yeah. We actually have council people coming out to our races.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, Elizabeth Crowley, the council member for Glendale, as well as parts of Woodhaven. She's come out to 2 of our runs now, 3 if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you really want to foster that relationship, because inevitably you're going to run into, hey, you know, we want to, like the marathon, if, you know, whatever that happens, you're going to need political muscle to get it through.
That's where my degree comes in handy, for sure.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Well, we're almost out of time, so I wanted to make sure we cover a couple of things. One, are there some personal challenges that you're looking forward to, athletically speaking? There is destination run?
Well, Maria and I, we like to try and see someplace new. In our first year, we wound up going to Rio de Janeiro. We ran that marathon. Tons of fun. Getting a chance to go out and see how the fitness council of their city gets a chance to implement plans for the residents. And there are gyms, actually. There are playground gyms. They have ellipticals out on public parks. It's fantastic, Will.
Really?
It's yeah, for real. It's fantastic. And getting a chance to go out and see new places, you get to see how other people live. We're going to Colorado this year. I'm going purely for altitude sickness.
Altitude? What do you mean, going to be training there for?
I'll be training there.
To get those extra red blood cells.
It's all about the red blood cells. I mean, I've got plenty of energy, but I don't have enough red blood cells, so that's what it's all about.
It'll be great. And now, in terms of the Queen distance runners, what's up in the horizon besides, you know, Queen's Marathon?
Yeah, so I mean, aside from just getting lots of runs which are relevant to people coming out to our borough, seeing what we can offer. We just like to basically have this sort of club just foster the rise of the 21st century with technology, for instance. We're trying to get our runs up on YouTube. We're using, I mean, you look at all this technology, it's amazing what we can do with technology. It can inspire people to start running, like my mom, who just ran her first 5K at Roosevelt Island, and she's now a member.
As a member of your club.
Member of our club.
The
That's
mama
right.
of the club.
That's right. I had to convince her to join our club.
You have a nickname, but it's just Mama.
Oh no, just Mama. Mama for now. That still works.
Mama Bear or something like that. Oh, that's excellent to have your mom part of the club. Keep an eye on you. Well, listen.
Of course.
Listen. Oh, technology. I was going to say. I remember. I don't know if it was you or one of your members. They ran and I think maybe it was during Valentine's, and it created a heart shape.
That was me.
That was you?
that was me.
That's how you use technology. How can I want to make a heart?
It was pretty tough. It was tougher than actually going to Hallmark and just getting a standard card.
That was your Valentine to Maria?
That was it. And that planning for that was tough. And doing it was even tougher. I picked a time where there wasn't enough traffic because some of these spots were pretty tough to reach.
Well, I think Maria definitely appreciated that. Kevin, tell us a little bit, how did you get into coaching?
Yeah, so Charlie, one of my buddies, fun guy out in Paragon, he actually wound up turning me on to James Chu, who runs for North Brooklyn Runners. And meeting James, it was just totally an experience that wound up becoming something that's affected me even to this day. Wound up running PRs, wound up following a schedule, and that's something that I've wanted to instill into our coaches, Mr. Medina, Mr. Weber, because with Mr. Chu, I wound up just trusting myself, trusting my instincts a lot more than just someone that signs up for X amount of races and just does them. Now I know when to push, when to just sort of hold back, when to use tactics. I mean, tactics, that was something I'd never heard of before. Now that I'd started, experiencing a coach and all this testimony of, okay, you got to go out at this pace, now this pace. It was sort of, okay, it sort of takes the fun away from running, but the results speak for themselves. So now with all these new coaches that we've sort of taken on with Mr. Weber and Mr. Medina, and our members can now basically have that experience that I took on at such a young age, because I had just started running, and all of a sudden to be told this is how you're going to run a race, might not seem like it's fun, but it does get results.
Yeah, and that makes it fun when you
It makes it fun. Ultimately,
exceed your expectations.
When you cross that finish line and you wind up realizing, hey, I didn't know I could do that, but coaching is really the sort of thing that just can help you get to the top.
So you set your own coaching credentials.
Yes, that's correct.
And so you're one of the other three coaches besides Ned and the Beast. You're a coach as well. In fact, you said you coached Catherine.
I did, but then I wound up getting so busy, I wound up having to pull back, saying to myself, okay, got to be the CEO. That's the hat I got to put on. Nate and Luciano are people that are definitely more than capable of training some people. And now we have a new coach now, Wendy Pfaff from the Queens Centers for Progress. She'll now be training runners that are just looking to get into running, get into marathon training.
So the newbies, so to speak.
We want to accommodate everyone to this fantastic borough.
That's right. Listen, on that note, thank you so much.
Yeah, first of many times. Thanks for having me.